So, Doc, I want you because so many of us we're in spaces that we may be one. We is one of us. We the token. We're in corporate spaces. We're in neighborhoods because we wanted to move our children and have a better a better way of life.
Yeah.
And so we experience a lot of microaggressions. And so, how do the microaggressions show up, and how does that lead into the dissonance?
Well, anything like in our own life, your life, my life, there are times, there are things like, I have family and friends that lost their homes in the fires, right? And I'm working with a group called the Global Circle, and I, sent in names of black psychiatrists, blacks, mental health people, because nobody's talking about the black and Latino population that lost everything, and they had inherited their houses, right? So I was dealing with that. You know, other issues going on, people sick in the family. These are things that happen in our lives, right? But cumulatively, what happens when cumulatively you go to work? There's a brother, his name is John Graham. He wrote a book called Plantation Theory. Really recommend it because he worked in corporate America, very tip top corporate America. And he talks about the cost of that climb and what it did to him. So he gets a call. This is, every time it's a story. I don't know what else to do. I got to tell you a story. Real true story, though. Always a true story. So he gets a call from his wife saying, our 7-year-old just asked a question that stunned me, and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to answer it. So when he gets home, she tells him that her 7-year-old says, how come you and Daddy change the way you talk when you talk to people from work? Right? That's the code switch, right? He said, tell her the truth. We do it to make white people feel comfortable. And of course, he left that corporate world. But what is the cumulative effect of living inauthentically?
Oof.
Of living this charade, not being able to be, too black.
Yeah.
Can't be too black. See, that's where where people, again, I don't adjust it. Maybe I'll definitely adjust for children if I'm talking to children about things that are difficult, but I don't adjust for any other audience because I'm a big grown up. My daughter says I've been black too long. That's what's going on. But I refuse to not be my whole self.
Right.
I refuse to hide who I am. Which my whole life, to get that good job, to stay in that space.
Right.
What do? The assault on our spirits, our minds, our hearts, constant assault. Laughing at the joke that wasn't funny. Listening to people say things and think it's okay to say because you're not, you're a different Negro. You're the special Negro.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever the case. I don't do that. Matter of fact, during Black History, that's when everybody feels it's an appropriate time. It's politically correct to be nice to, the Negroes month. And, I just, and I want to tell a story. Maybe you've not heard this story. I don't tell it often, but it's the story of one of these Black History times. And the only thing I'll do when people invite me to do stuff, generally speaking, I will, close friends, stuff that's where people are conscious and sane, or children. So many years ago, I got a call, and it was from the coast of Oregon. It was these people on the coast. It's really very white. Very, very white. And they said, we'd like you to talk to youth about Martin Luther King being a drum major for justice, right? So very reluctantly, I said, well, it's kids. It's okay. I can take my kids. It's a beach there. I'm trying to justify what. So I get there, got my computer, have my thing all set up, and they're 3 to 6-year-olds. The whole audience are 3-year-olds to 6-year-olds.
Wow.
When he said youth, I'm thinking
middle school.
Yeah, at least, right?
5th, 6th grade.
And so I take my computer, I just close it and put it down because that's not what's going to happen. And they were all on the rug with their legs floated, picking their noses and doing it. It's all white except the adopted Asian kids. That was kind of in, white people who adopted. That's the only time you saw any other child. So I'm going, okay, God, what am I going to do? So I said, here's the thing. I said, how many people anybody want to do a skit? I do. All of these kids are hopeful. They're just so cute. So I took two little girls. I said, we're going to go upstairs. I'm going to be the teacher. I told them what the skit was going to be. I'm the teacher, and you're the students. So I had them in at chairs, at desks, facing all the kids with, on the floor. And then I had my back to them at my desk. I gave one had a toy and one had a crayon. So when the little girl with the crayon, she got up and left, and the little girl with the toy took a crayon, right? So she comes to me. She comes back to her desk. She sees the girl took her crayon. So she says, teacher, she took my crayon. I said, she did. Yeah, so I have them. We're all standing up front now. I go, did you take her crayon? She said, yes. I said, say you're sorry. She goes, I'm sorry. I said, okay. So I turned around, sat down, and they went and sat down. And the little kids were like, hey, the whole audience is like, why? But I said, is there a problem? What's the problem? So I said, okay, let's do it again. Maybe they didn't hear it. I said, now, did you take a crayon? Yes. Say you're sorry. I'm sorry. I said, so she says she's sorry. So a 3-year-old. This is a 3-year-old waving at her. She was very upset. I said, is there a problem? She said, she got to give back the crayon.
She got to give it back.
She got to give it back. Saying you're sorry, not enough.
Yeah.
So a 3-year-old understands justice. It's not just for her to keep the crayon. And what we have to insist is that they give the crayon back.
That's such a great analogy.
That's a story. It's real, true life. Real life.
It's like this is what we need, because people think that, well, it's not happening to me. People think, well, that's not my life. I have a black friend. My nanny's black. I love black people. My coworker, what's her name?
Right.
And so we think that it doesn't pertain to us. That's not my problem. That's not my scenario. That's not my life. But you really make us see and understand that it's all connected. We're all connected.
Absolutely, we're connected.
The human experience.
It's the human experience. And are we going to wait till, the fire's at our door? And, even in tragedy, I mean, Katrina, look at all the different tragedies. Every single time, the differential response to a tragedy. To a tragedy. They said, oh, they were just looters.
Right.
Right? The other people were finding resources.
I mean, it was the same thing even when you saw some of the images from the fire. It just recently in LA.
That's right.
People trying to get stuff out of their own homes, and they're called they're looters.
Because again, that image is seared into our brains. And again, the impact, what we are carrying. I always say my people are a miracle.
Yeah,
they are. And I wouldn't never want to be born anything but black.
I tell people all the time, if I come back in the next life, I'm coming back as a black woman.
I'll be black. I'll be black.
I'm coming back as a black woman in the next lifetime too.
There is nobody like us.
It's not.
Nobody like us. And,
I want to, because when we think that things have changed, so many things remain the same.
Yes.
FBI report in 2023. The highest level of hate crimes in the United States. Over 50% of those reported crimes were rooted in race, ethnicity, or ancestry in 2023.
That is correct.
Well over 11,000 hate crime cases.
Yes. And the most significant threat, according to Homeland Security and the FBI, was white supremacy. Their words.
Wow. White supremacy has many victims, you said.
Many, many victims.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the things that really struck me because I spend a lot of time everywhere with all people of every walk of life. I just got back from the Netherlands, believe it or not. And, I was asked to come to the Netherlands, and I'm thinking, actually my DNA, part of our DNA goes to the Netherlands.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I'm not proud of that because they were crazy. All get out. The people that I came from, they still doing blackface in the Netherlands, just saying. So I was surprised because of those from Suriname, slavery. They were taken and, colonialism, the whole thing, and they wanted to translate my book into Dutch. That's how resonating it was for them. But when I think about, the victims, I think about indigenous people from this country. And now this missed my text. I have pictures of this. I don't know if I included it in the book, but they're definitely in my presentation, where they showed these people, this man sitting on top of what looks like a mountain.
Is this all the bison? The buffalo? The buffalo that were killed?
Millions of them, for the purpose of starving the Indians to steal their land. That was the purpose of it. And I mean, rotting corpses that were people were shooting them from trains. And it was just, and I'm watching this and I'm looking at, there's another scripture that says, my earth is weary of you. We have desecrated. Now, here's the irony about that. There's this one guy standing proudly on top of a mountain of skulls, a mountain of them, and two people on the bottom, another person on the bottom, proud. Millions. Now, let me just tell you something. Particularly in a place like Oregon, but anywhere in the United States, it's a good time to be a cat or dog. Can I tell you that they got better health care?
Oh, man,
they got
listen.
They got better food. There's even water. I went past a place. This is when I had a moment. I had a moment. We walked past a place and I thought it was some sort of a bakery with a dog theme. It was a dog bakery, and they had gourmet water in bottles.
Wow.
And there was a man, I'm not making this up, that was outside digging in a trash can trying to find some food.
Wow.
I lost my mind. My friend was in the restaurant waiting for me. She sees my hands waving. And I was just feeling some kind of way about that, right? So right now, let me just say, the millions of bison, millions of buffalo killed. I dare you. If a puppy rolled up in here right now, a little yellow lab rolled up and was running around, and we took some of the wires and wrapped it around its neck and held it up till it choked, gasped, and died, you and I would be arrested faster than if it was a black man on the other side of that.
Absolutely. Hey, Vault family, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this clip, make sure to check out our full interview on our channel at Vault Empowers Talks. We don't just scratch the surface. We dive deep into the lives of some of the world's most influential leaders and change makers. Don't forget to like, to comment, and be sure to subscribe for more inspiring conversations. See you next time.